programs from the Essential Herbal magazine, and my sister Maryanne Schwartz is manning the camera. She's from Lancaster County Soapworks, and together we, in 1999, we wrote this booklet on making incense. So today we're going to make a batch of incense. There are several ingredients that you will need to make incense. One is the woods, which you can see here. We have 3 teaspoons of red santal, or red sandalwood it's called, and 3 teaspoons of mako, which is a bark, ground bark, which helps to hold it together and also burn, and it smells good too. Then we have, let's see, next is you need 2 teaspoons of a resin. That could be frankincense, myrrh, this is myrrh, copal, dragon's blood, pine, anything like that, pinyon, but we're using myrrh this time. We have a little orris root, a teaspoon of orris root, which helps it retain the scent. We have a blend of 3 teaspoons altogether of rose petal and cardamom seed. And in this container here, we have some tragacanth gum, which is a really good glue for this kind of thing, and also a little bit of saltpeter, so that if the mako doesn't do the job, this will hold it together and also help it fire up, help it burn well. So, okay, let's get started. First, we're going to put the wood in, and we'll blend the resin in with that. We'll do all the dry stuff first. Make sure it's really well mixed. And I have, since we did the book, I've really started enjoying putting the saltpeter and the tragacanth in together with water or whatever liquid you're using. For instance, this is the rose petal and cardamom in here. For this one, we're using some water that we set out during the full blue moon with the eclipse in 2018. So it should be pretty special incense. I don't think we used mako then either. And mako has its own combustible. No, we didn't when we wrote the book. Yeah, I don't know that you mentioned that had combustible properties. So just adding my 2 cents. Yeah, good. This is, you're right. I mean, we had not heard of it when we wrote that. It was really hard to get the ingredients to make incense. In fact, finding saltpeter was a real treat. And now we have found that this is 100% saltpeter. So, okay, so now we've got these mixed pretty well. And make sure this is, if this won't be enough liquid, but then I can use plain water. So I'm going to do this. Better not enough. Yes. As we found out. Yeah, I think that's what happened. We used too much liquid and it got really gummy, and I couldn't get it off my fingers to make cones. This is just about done. Look at that. It's not sticky. Yeah, see? See, New York people. See? See, look. I can pull my thumb away, and it's colored from the santal, but it's not sticking on there. So, and I have a little extra powder here, too, which is just fine. So, okay, so I'm going to just scrunch it up like this. And Play-Doh. See, it's more like Play-Doh. Just like Play-Doh. Just like she explained. Yep. Yeah, that never happened. Not like crab cakes. Yes. Okay. Normally I would really go to a lot of trouble to get all this out, but I'm not going to, I can do that later. So if you're doing this at home, you can use a screen is really nice, a piece of cardboard with wax paper over it. There's a lot of different things you can do, but because what you're going to want to do is let it sit overnight, and then in a day or 2, you'll want to flip them over, like plunk them over, and let them dry so that they don't mold. Okay, so this is, I don't know, what's that, a lima bean? I don't know, dime. Yeah. It might even be too big, actually, now I think about it. But, okay, so you start going like this, and then you use your other thumb sort of as a base. And it's better to have them too small. It's better to have them too thin. I have a professional one here just for an example. Yeah. Now that's made with a mold. Okay. And, personally, you can't really, I can come pretty close, I think. There. All right, so it's a little crooked, but, Isn't that good? You're going to get quite a few more out of this than you think you are, honestly. We have a friend in New York who makes incense with us occasionally, and she always makes little, they wind up being little pyramids, and they're the cutest thing, but they're kind of like that. Now, if you have them thinner and taller, they will burn better because you don't have to worry about them being getting moist in the middle and not drying right. So then another thing you can do is, since we don't make sticks, you can make dupe sticks, which are just snakes. And we used to teach this class a lot back in the day when we had a shop, and we'd get to this stage and then people would get very creative. They would make snakes with little mouths and little rattles on the end. Yeah. And then I remember somebody made an elephant one time, and somebody made a set of runes. Mm-hmm. And it was, you can do whatever you want. One of my favorites is, we did for the swap last year at the Old Sage Apothecarians. We had a swap, and I did incense, and it was, okay, they're just like postage stamps almost. You roll them out, and that's kind of what you get. And then, you just light them.
Should we light one?
No, I don't.
We don't have a lighter.
No. Of course not. Okay, so then these I used a candy mold for. These are starting to fall apart on me. And they're probably 10 years old. Right, these were, what's that clay? Fimo?
Fimo.
They have little molds, yeah. And they're pretty cool. I had some really awesome ones, but I probably burned them. There's these big honkers. Yeah.
For the comet.
Yeah, that's right. Next time there's a comet, we are ready.
Outside tonight, we might see the Perseid meteor showers.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
probably not.
It's probably not going to be clear. It never is.
We never see them.
No.
It rains. It always rains.
It's going to too.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so then, as you can see, we've barely made a dent in this. So there's probably a couple dozen here. Mm-hmm. And again, what you use is you use wood, you use a resin, you use the Mako is both binder and fire, but we learned to make it with tragacanth and saltpeter back in the day, because Mako, I had never heard of that. We had never heard of that. And so now we're just starting to, we add half and half of that with the wood, and then add a little bit of what we're used to, and so that, so when we start to trust that it'll work, maybe we'll leave out the other two, but tragacanth is such an amazing binder. Anyway, so you need those, the resin, any kind, yes.
Yeah, and we'll put the recipe up with the video.
Yeah, and a liquid, which, by the way, can be anything. It can be wine, it can be hydrosol, you can add a few drops of essential oil, you can use really anything at all. But, and that's pretty much it. So, as you can see, we really needed to do this because we screwed up at the demo last week, and even though they forgave us, we really feel like you should see what it really looks like.
Yeah, don't put all the liquid in at once. Here's a trick.
Yeah, that must have been it. Okay, so thank you. This is kind of what we do.